Ladies, young ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. Once again, you are welcome here on the Tribune of Awakening Consciousness. In international news on the side of the United States of America, things are not going well. The Americans are very upset with American policy, the new American policy adopted by the Trump administration. And the Americans, in a logic, in a momentum of democracy, have decided to make themselves heard this Saturday, April 5th, 2025, at the Washington Monument. So, it resonates around the world. And while the demonstration, the great mobilization is underway in several thousand American cities, simultaneously, meanwhile, the United States of America is activating, seriously, accuse Volodymyr Zelensky of having torpedoed, of stepping on the simplest agreement in history, according to the Trump administration. So, in the context of this video conference, ladies and gentlemen, this is of course what we are going to talk about. But before continuing, I ask you to share this video conference as much as possible. Share it in all possible groups. Give it lots of likes, And above all, don't forget to click on subscribe. Subscribe, because it allows you to no longer miss our video conferences, to no longer miss the hottest news of the moment, to stay informed. So, let's dive into the depths. Ladies and gentlemen, you are well aware that when Donald Trump came to power, he decided to start a trade war against everyone because, according to him, America's interests have been skewed, have been undermined by nations not allied with America, including also nations that are allies, that are friends of the United States of America. Donald Trump is seeking to recover the amounts that have been wasted by Joe Biden's administration with allied and non-allied powers. That is why Donald Trump signed an executive order. About 72 hours ago, this order establishes this very high tariff that is exorbitant. Donald Trump signed this order, which establishes the very exorbitant tariff, believing that he is applying the measure of reciprocity, except that this measure of reciprocity was not fair. He implemented trade barriers, customs barriers, and some non-tariff barriers. So, in his calculation, this is reciprocity. So, these tariffs that have been set make it so that there is crying in Europe, there is crying almost everywhere. And it's a way to somewhat isolate the United States of America, because when it's like this, imports to America will stop or they will slow down significantly. This is the case with China, which was hit with a 34% tariff of tariffs. And the most curious thing is that Russia was not affected. Nothing has changed regarding the jobs, the products coming from Russia, which clearly shows a friendly, very, very friendly, more than allied inclination towards Russia. Here is a series of events that are very painful for Americans, a set of things that America does not appreciate. So, it must be said that it is very early. The images you see here, this is a capture from a video that took place at the Washington Monument. And there, we saw thousands of people who took to the streets to protest against the administration of Donald Trump. So, we will say that it is too early for an administration that has just arrived. But the Americans are determined. The Americans are resolute. So, according to the official information, these are protests against Trump and Musk. There you have it. These are protests against Trump and Musk, Elon Musk. You know, Elon Musk, he is the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, in charge of reducing state expenses. This billionaire, the richest man in the world, is roughing up American politics, as it seems like he has the American president in his grip. So he roughs him up as he sees fit, makes statements, takes stances and forces President Donald Trump to make radical decisions. So, there are banners that these people have created on which you see inscriptions against Elon Musk. You also see inscriptions against Donald Trump. In any case, the American people are not calming down. Share this video conference with me. We will delve deeper, but share the video. Give it a lot of likes. According to reports, several thousand people took to the streets in Washington to protest against Trump's practices. Some participants made banners against Elon Musk. This is what the Russian media, RIA Novosti, reports. The gathering at the Washington Monument is part of the protests taking place in more than 1,000 American cities this Saturday, the largest in the country during Trump's second term, according to Beiste, the media. So, what needs to be said is that the organizers of the pro-democracy movement plan to hold more than 1,400 gatherings in all 50 states. And in the District of Columbia, here's what the other media outlet CNN notes. I believe it's an American media outlet. This means that these people are not done yet. They are not done yet. They plan to organize more gatherings. In total, they want to organize 1,400 gatherings in the 50 states of the United States of America. So, here's what Donald Trump is experiencing at the moment. One might understand after a year of exercising power that people would rise up. But just after how many months? Just after, let's say, 2 months, a few weeks, automatically, people are rising up against him. This means that his policy is not pleasing the Americans. So, will Donald Trump decide to water down his approach following these unprecedented large-scale mobilizations? Since, even under Joe Biden's era, we haven't seen such mobilizations. Still, we must acknowledge the truth. So, these are Joe Biden's supporters who are retaliating, as if to demonstrate that they managed the country well, but the one who came after is mismanaging the country. It's democracy, it's true, it's certainly the opposition, but it must be said that the recent measures taken by Donald Trump and his way of managing the state really leaves much to be desired. The Americans are therefore in a bind. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is what he had to say on the subject. In the next video conference, we will address the direct accusation that America is making against Volodymyr Zelensky, and which risks making the peace process, which is already undermined, even more complicated. Thank you all very much. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.